Hello, Huntley Hotspurs. It's time to do my reaction to Premier League Gameweek 7. Took me a while to muster up the drive to do this one. Um, yeah, but you'll see why soon. But I'm sure you can already guess why. But let's get straight into it. First game was Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. What I predicted was 1-0 to Liverpool. I just thought, Crystal Palace might give a good go of it and Liverpool would just have enough to get through. And that's actually what happened, exactly. I worried I might be quite a bit off when Jota scored within the first 10 minutes. But miraculously, Crystal Palace kept it at that for the entire game. And it just ended up being that solitary first 10-minute strike from Diego Jota that won the game for Liverpool. Alisson out now with another lengthy injury. That's a big blow for them. But yeah, pretty much business as usual for Liverpool, and Crystal Palace continue their very poor start to the season, and Liverpool continue their very good start to the season and very good start to life under Arne Slot. Second game was Arsenal versus Southampton. I thought it would be 4-0 to Arsenal, very routine win. What actually ended up happening is Arsenal did it the hard way. They went a goal down, surprisingly, to Southampton, but then managed to get an equaliser fairly quickly, and from there they motored through and they got a 3-1 victory. Kai Havertz, yet again, getting on the score sheet. That man is putting himself into a bit of contention for Golden Boot, to be honest. Or at least, be second or third in the Golden Boot. Well done to them. Fair play to Arsenal for coming back and not letting being a goal down deter them. Next game, Brentford versus Wolves. I said it would be 2-2. So I predicted quite a bit of goals, but for the points to be shared. This game could have been a draw, but much higher scoring. It ended up being Brentford 5 and Wolves 3. 8-goal thriller, of which 5 of the 8 came in the first half. Absolutely incredible. 6 came in the first half, and then 2 came in the second half. Absolutely incredible. Must have been an absolute brilliance of attacking going on there, and not a whole lot of defending. It's the kind of scoreline you wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham were getting it in a game, because either, at the 5 end or the 3 end, because that is very similar styles. And wow, really, really interesting. Wolves, I think, really wanted to try and get something out of this game, but they just couldn't do it. And they now really are in very big trouble heading into this international break. And Brentford are having a pretty decent start to the season, it must be said, sitting in 11th place in the league. Not terrible. I was kind of thinking they would be flirting with relegation this season. Certainly not looking that way so far. Fourth game, Manchester City versus Fulham. I said it would be Man City 3, Fulham 1. Actually, Fulham got 1 closer than I predicted. It ended up being Manchester City 3, so I got that exactly correct. Fulham 2. They actually did manage to put 2 goals there. Fair play to them. Well done to Man City. They're continuing their invincible form, and Fulham not having a terrible start to the season, it must be said. They're actually doing pretty okay. They're doing really okay. Fifth game, West Ham versus Ipswich. I knew this would be West Ham needed a result, and they were at home. I thought of nothing less than them getting the result here, and I was right. I underestimated them slightly. I said 2-0. It was higher scoring than that, 5 goals in the game, but West Ham was 4, Ipswich 1. Fulkrug, I think, will be back after the international break as well. And then, maybe they'll kick on. I'm worried that their first game after the international break is Tottenham. I don't want us to be Dr. Tottenham there. Really can't afford it. We need to put them away in that game. And their form hasn't been so great this first couple of games of the season. We really need to try and put them away there. And we are the home team, so we have to put them away. Sixth game, Leicester versus Bournemouth. Now, I think this one was definitely an upset of the weekend. Leicester beat Bournemouth 1-0. You would have thought, given the form of the two teams and how, Areola's a lot more confident in the league now and his type of players and profile of players he has, they would be able to get a result here. I thought it would have been a fairly comfortable 2-0 victory to Bournemouth. In actual fact, it was Leicester that came out winners. Buonotte's first half strike, enough to give them a 1-0 lead, and they maintained it for the whole game, and they won 1-0. Buonotte's been the best transfer, definitely, that Leicester have made. And he came from a very good grassroots, which is Brighton, which we will get to in a moment, unfortunately. Seventh game, Everton versus Newcastle. I was very surprised this ended as a draw, and that it ended as a 0-0 draw. But, Anthony Gordon had a golden opportunity to give Newcastle a 1-0 lead before halftime, and the penalty was saved by Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford is still proving why he is an elite goalkeeper, and he is one of the sole reasons that Everton always seem to stay up and always seem to just have enough in the tank. I think it's down to sometimes some of these kind of moments where, like, he'll save a penalty, saves them a point. And that point could be pivotal later on. And even at this stage of the season, those single points are proving to be quite important, because at this stage in the campaign, a lot of teams are just separated by 1 or 2 points in their positions. And they could be separated by 4 or 5 positions just based off 1 or 2 points and goal difference. So fair play there. Eighth game, Aston Villa versus Man United. I said it would be a 1-1 draw. It was a draw, but nothing happened. It was Aston Villa 0, Manchester United 0. And I think that's actually a pretty good result, not for Villa, but for Man United, to actually keep a clean sheet and get a draw after they just got battered by Spurs last weekend. Lost 3-0, couldn't score a single goal. Look, they couldn't score a single goal this time either, but at least they didn't let any goals in either. And they were away from home. So they had a much better performance now away from home than what they did at home. Bit like the opposite of Spurs, to be honest. And Villa, I'd say at this moment, are a better team than Spurs. So fair play to Man United for getting that draw there. Just a pity it was so boring and there was no goals in it. Second last game, Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. I thought Chelsea would definitely have enough to put Nottingham Forest away. I thought Forest would get themselves in the game a bit, but I said it would be 3-1 to Chelsea. And what actually happened is it was 1-1. Noddy Madueke and Chris Wood. And that's about all she wrote. It was a 1-1 draw. Got really exciting towards the end in stoppage time. A couple of good saves on both sides of the pitch from Robert Sanchez and Matt Sells. And Nottingham Forest having a pretty solid start to the campaign, it must be said. They're now only one position lower than Spurs in 10th. So they're having a really good time under Nuno Espirito Santo this season. Last game. Brighton versus Tottenham. Oh my goodness. What can I say? Tottenham in cruise control. 2-0 up, half-time. Johnson scores for the 6th game in a row. Maddison gets on the score sheet for his 2nd goal of the season. And you're thinking, this is going to be 2-1, 3-0, 3-1. But no. Spurs are Spurs. And they were playing like Real Madrid in the first half. And they played like the worst version of Antonio Conte's Spurs in the second half. They weren't going forward enough. They let the other team have all the gameplay, all the momentum, all the possession. They let them do all the attacking. And they let them basically score off every single good attack they were getting going there. The defense opened up at will. Vicario couldn't really do much, but the defenders didn't mop up what they needed to. Udogie got found out multiple times. Romero didn't defend at all for that 3rd goal that Welbeck managed to score in. Tottenham didn't have the impetus. After, when it was 2-2, when that second Brighton goal went in, my stomach was sinking, because I was thinking, if there's a winner here, I can only really see it going one way. And and unfortunately that was the case. Brighton got the win. Danny Welbeck, that man, ex-Arsenal, ex-Man United, and somehow he works for Brighton and he's just getting the goals, and it's very frustrating. Jorginho Ruta, seen as maybe not being a good enough signing, very controversial, expensive striker signing / versatile forward signing for them, and now he's gone and basically turned the game on Spurs when we were 2-0 up. And won them a game. So maybe from this game alone, you can say money well spent. Johnson, fair play to him. That's 6 goals in 6 games now. That's a very good run of form. I hope this didn't dampen his vibes, so as to speak. I hope this didn't dampen it. But what a disappointing capitulation by Tottenham. We really shouldn't have lost that game. And questions need to start being asked of Andrew's tactics and how he's playing. And we need to start holding on to leads and just maybe changing up our style in second halves when we are in control to not let the goals keep seeping in. If the team gets one goal back, okay, fine. But then control something, get something under control, get more possession, defend better, get deeper, put more players behind the ball. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we've got international break now. Tottenham play West Ham at home when we return on Saturday, 19th of October, the 1:30 SA time game. And yeah, we just really need to beat West Ham. I think at this point, I'd probably even take a draw because West Ham always seem to turn up against us. But the truth is we really actually need to win that game because then it will be 13 points from 8 games, which sounds a little bit better than 10 points from 7 currently. 13 from 8, at least you're averaging more than 1.5 per game. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Got international break here. Best of luck to Dominic Solanke, who's in the England squad, and to some other Spurs players who have made their respective call-ups. Also, special note to Pedro Porro, who's finally received another Spain call-up, I think well-deserved. And good luck to them all, and let's just... no injuries, please. Yeah, and until next time, until my Premier League Game Week 7 predictions, we'll just have to mull over this defeat and try and see where we can improve. And just keep the faith, Spurs fans. And as always, even though it hurts at times like this,